to pause to record. We've weathered depressions, pandemics, war, and so many other things. This year is and will be different as we are all sitting and staring at each other through a computer screen instead of in person. But let me say this now and over and over. Embracing the difference that this year is providing for us. Finding the joy and the challenge that will precede us and carrying us through, and having patience with ourselves and each other will be required. More than ever, we need each other to stay connected in big and small ways. We will work hard to do that, and it will be important. I encourage you to connect with each other throughout the year. We will continue to provide a variety of opportunities to stay connected with each other as we travel through this pandemic. A friendly reminder that when we check the boxes in our member profile, and those, gives us such gratification, right? To check the box, oh, I'm done with all my GMMs and trainings. That doesn't mean that you have to stop coming to GMMs and trainings. In fact, now more than ever, I encourage you to please sign up for as many opportunities as you can in order to stay connected with the league and your fellow members. Tonight's meeting and breakouts have come together by the hard work of some extraordinary and talented leaders. I'd like to take a moment to shout out to Kimberly Reed, Christy LaHood, Courtney Rapp, Jessica Mathis, Sarah Koshy-Stiles, Lauren Polino, Katie Adams, and Margaret Bruce for pivoting in ways that none of us imagined. Thank you for seeing my vision of this large July general meeting and breakouts and making it happen when we knew things would not be held in person. Tonight, we will conduct some league business. We will have a preview of an upcoming training to further our knowledge of diversity and inclusion. And then we will break out into smaller, more intimate groups with specialized trainings. This is the first time we're holding a GMM/multi-breakout training event. Please be patient with us as we divide you into your breakouts and move to the breakout sections, and share your feedback. We genuinely want to know if you enjoyed this format, not necessarily the Zoom, but the opportunity to have a GMM and then a smaller training meeting after, and are welcome your ideas. So we have some housekeeping items for those of you who have not already taken care of this. Please put your name, change your name in your Zoom to your name and then / which breakout room you're going into. The breakout room names are SL for seasoned leader. So if you have been a leader before, that is where you want to designate. RL for rookie leader. This is for our very first time leaders. AM for active member. If you don't identify as a brand new first time experience new member in our organization and you don't identify as a leader, that is specialized training for you. And then last but certainly not least, a shout out to all of our new members who are here. We are so excited to see you, and your designation is NM. Okay. If you are having challenges checking into the Digital Cheetah app to record your attendance, don't panic. We will get you taken care of. And with that, I would like to turn the mic over to the lovely and talented Erin Falk, who is our Director of Marketing this year, to share with us some social marketing tips.
Can I quickly ask that you maybe, for people who aren't familiar with Zoom, how to change their name in Zoom, in case they don't know how to do that?
Karen, you want me to take that real quick?
Yes, please. Sorry.
You don't mind?
No.
Okay, so if you are on a computer, a desktop, if you look at your picture and you hover over like the 3 little dots in the upper right hand corner, I think the technical name for that is a menu bar. If you click on that, you will have a drop down, and rename should be one of the options in your drop down. So you can type, if you click on that, you can type anything you want. What we're asking you to do is your first name, last name, and then the designation for your breakout room. So SL for seasoned, R for rookie, first time leader, NM for new member, and AM for active member. If you are on a device, like a mobile, you're logging in through the mobile app, then all you need to do is in the participants area, I think it's down at the bottom, click on participants, click on your own name, and then you'll have the rename option there. Type it in and then hit done. So hopefully that'll help everyone out.
Thank you, Christy. And I would say worst case scenario, if you can't figure it out, just type your name in with what your code is, if you absolutely can't figure it out. Nobody asked me. I always have a hard time figuring it out. Okay, hi guys, I'm Erin. I'm the director of marketing. I also took up this thing called working out, so that's why I look like this. So sorry about that. I want to start really for social media this year. We really want to focus on members. And so we have a really cool tool we're going to use. It's called a text line, right? And so what I want to do is I want to give everybody the text phone number. You're probably going to see it on everything, but you might as well just save it in your phone right now. I want to give everybody the text number, and then I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'm going to give it back to them. So, okay, so first of all, just grab your phones or grab a pen or paper that you're going to put in your phone later, and I'm going to read you the text line, and I'll type it in right here too. It's 816-844-3649. $816-844-3649. They're saying, is it a fun? It is a fun tool. Text is fun, okay? Essentially, how this tool works is if you are doing something that you would like to see on social media, so you're hanging out with your friends from the league, you're volunteering, please take a picture and send in. It would be awesome if you could just do a short description with it, or just maybe your names or what you're doing. The text line does not take just verbiage. It has to come with a picture. But what it will do is I'm going to try to share my screen here. First, I'm going to take a picture of everybody on my screen. So if you're on my screen, you don't know if you are or not, just smile, because you're probably getting your picture taken right now. So I'm going to text this picture into us. 816, again, 844-3649. You just text it in. I'm going to say GMM, text it in. So now I'm going to share my screen and show you guys what it does. So when you get it, it's actually going to come over here to our media library. Any second. Whenever you plan to do something live, it does this, huh? Here we go. So it's here in our media library. Right here is our meeting. Oh, I guess that's Holiday Mart meeting. Okay, guys, you just have to trust me that it comes in. Oh, here it is. Usually I'm not going to be watching for it. So, oh, you guys are texting me. Okay, perfect. This is great. All your pictures are coming into me, so I don't know what happened to mine. You will see that it says media added to JLK CMO, so you'll know it came in. And then our social media chairs will start. Now I just want to prove that it works. So GMM, so right here, it's going to come in. So essentially, please, please, please start texting pictures. I know that a lot of us feel like the same people get featured all the time. And a lot of times that's just because they're by the person with the camera. So I would like to start featuring everybody. Our goal this year on marketing, really across the board in Junior League, but our goal in marketing for sure is to show our very diversified membership. And I mean that in all different walks of life. So wherever you're volunteering, if you're an in-league, out-of-league, we want to show the community what we're doing. So again, 816-844-3649, text and pictures, and we'll see you on there. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Erin. All right, so in the effort to always try to find the good in any situation, right? I just want to share briefly that the good with doing Zoom meetings is that we can see everybody's fur babies. And if you guys haven't met Rosie, Rosie loves being on Zoom. She's my 4.5-pound puppy, and she is excited as I am that you are here. So we are going to move to the next section, and I am just so pumped and feel so lucky that we have this woman with us tonight to share some training tips on implicit bias. Dr. Nicole Price, who is the president and owner of Lively Paradox, or founder of Lively Paradox. I actually was passed her name by another Junior League member about a year ago, and she said that she saw her presentation at Blue Valley Schools, I believe, and that it was phenomenal on diversity and inclusion, and we should consider bringing her on board. Well, then fast forward to starting this year off in a really let's just say, the world changed. The world kind of went on fire regarding, and rightfully so, regarding diversity and inclusion. And it became something that not was just something we wanted to talk about, but take real inspired action towards. So I am so happy to turn the mic over to Dr. Nicole Price, who is going to spend some time with us on the topic of implicit bias. Dr. Price, thank you for joining us tonight.
I appreciate you, Karen, and great to see all your lovely faces. I do have a couple disclaimers. My first disclaimer is I'm not sure that I'm going to tell you a bunch of things you don't already know. And so you might say, well, why are you here? Well, my hope is that as we think about issues like unconscious bias and diversity and inclusion, that I can get you to think just a little bit differently about what you already know. The other thing is I really wanted to be a comedian, and I didn't have the heart to tell my mom that I was going to turn down a full engineering scholarship. And so I ended up being an engineer instead, but we have far more fun if you laugh at my little jokes. So this is where I get my comedic relief, and I'd appreciate it if I can see some smiling faces every once in a while. Now, before we talk about unconscious bias, I want to just share some content related to what I call blind destruction and how we can help to move the needle in this space. So when I think about raising people's awareness or combating unconscious bias, there's basically two pathways, very distinct pathways, but they're both equally destructive, and there's different solutions based on which path you're on. So let me first talk about those people who are willfully destructive. We all know someone like this, someone who thinks that, yes, there are some people who are better than other people, someone who thinks that we should be separated by difference, someone who thinks that meritocracy is the way that we get to levels of success, however you define that. Now, those people who are willfully destructive, I describe them as people who know that they're biased. It's not like they are unconscious or they have implicit associations. They know that they're biased and they're very proud of it. They also engage in what I call shark bites. So if you would think about if you got bitten by a shark, no one would wonder whether or not you were wounded. In fact, most people would come to your aid. And so those are some of the more egregious behaviors like we saw with Officer Chauvin and Mr. Floyd on television, and we were all mortified. These types of people who would engage in shark bites willfully can't usually be moved by data. In fact, they need life-altering events in order for them to change. And here's what I mean. Let's imagine that you were willfully destructive towards children with special needs. You think that people with maybe Down syndrome should be committed to special institutions. They shouldn't be integrated into society, and you don't mind telling anyone that. Well, let's imagine then you have a child or a grandchild who has Down syndrome. It is likely that that will break your heart wide open and cause you to adjust your position. Empathy building. Sometimes when people get terminal illnesses like cancer, they will adjust some hard stances that they may have taken in the past. When people lose parents or children, you'll see their empathy levels grow. Now, I don't specialize in the empathy building business. Look at this face. Don't trust this engineer to help build levels of empathy in anybody. It's not my specialty. What is my specialty though, is getting people to think differently about things. And so for that reason, we take the other path. We're focused on people who are considered blindly destructive or unconsciously biased, implicit associations that they don't know they have. They're already empathetic, want to do good in the world, people who I assume are a part of your membership group. Maybe these are people who are wildly ignorant and that's what's causing their destruction. However, these people are the masters of the mosquito bites, not shark bites. These are the little subtle things we do that over time can be destructive because of the collective impact of them. So if you think about how many people die each year around the globe based on shark bites, that number's less than 10. But if you think about how many people are killed every year from mosquito-borne illnesses like malaria or West Nile, you will come to see that the mosquito bite is equally, if not more dangerous than the shark bite. They're called microaggressions, the small ways, the little things that we might not see that are destructive, but people don't necessarily know they're doing them. So why do I care about these kinds of people? Typically, they're already empathetic, as I've said, and so it's incredibly important to keep shame low, and I'll talk more about that. The emphasis is placed on learning and growing versus opening the heart. The heart is considered to already be open. I imagine many of your members are already good people, if you use those terms, doing well in the world, emotionally intelligent. However, one way that we're different from almost all other people who do this work is that we refuse to jump into content that is focused on race first. We treat race like it's a calculus course, and most Americans at best have a pre-algebra level of understanding. And so we back up and set some foundation under people. It's not slowing down. That's not what it is. We don't slow down, but we give people the foundation so that they can have intelligible conversations when they focus on what we call the 3 dimensions. So let's talk about shame. It's not my research. Brene Brown has given the world 25 years worth of her research on shame. And what we know is that ashamed adults cannot learn. And so for this reason, we take the difficult parts of the conversation to the privacy of people's own homes. So what does that look like? Many of you got pre-work from me before the session tonight. And in that pre-work, you may have taken an implicit association test and learned something about yourself that caused you to feel some shame or guilt. What I can't protect you from are those feelings. But what I can protect you from is having to unpack those feelings with other people in the room. And so we see it to be spiritual malpractice to pull people in the room to pour their hearts out. 100 people on the line tonight, 297 of you, and that is not that's not the best way for adults to learn and move forward. And so what we do is say, okay, the shameful parts of the conversation will be done in private, so that when we get together, what we're talking about is that it's not about you being a bad or a good person. This is about this is about destructive behaviors, not about you as a person that we're trying to address. We also know that this improves learning and makes collaboration and innovation go up, and reduces the amount of workplace bullying. That's why we focus on no shame. Those three dimensions are, we start with the interpersonal, our internal prejudices that we have, and then progress to topics of discrimination, and that's good or bad. And then finally, the final content is related to institutional or systemic challenges. When we're thinking about interpersonal things, it's self-work. It's incredibly difficult to master. However, what we're trying to attack are destructive thoughts and beliefs. And quite frankly, we avoid emotionally charged or intellectually challenging content at this stage. We also try to get people to master some content related to difference at this stage, about every other aspect of difference besides race, so that you can build your muscle memory. At that point, then we progress to what's called the interpersonal or the discrimination stage. This is our group behavior, how we listen, how we engage in conversations. What are those external actions like microaggressions or biases, and how do they come out for us? If you think about the adage, children should be seen how to complete that sentence without me even telling them. That's an internal bias. That's a prejudice. We all have it. And even if you don't believe that children should be seen and not heard, sometimes when you're tired, angry, lonely, or hurt, you might treat children in ways that are less than stellar when they're advocating for themselves. And that's the interpersonal or the discrimination dimension. And we give more advanced tools like how to listen, how to question your own thoughts, how to sit with someone who sees the world differently than you. Now, I want to remind you, we're not talking about willfully destructive people. Remember, I don't mess with those people. That's not what we're talking about. I do not specialize in that space. I'm talking about people like you and your members. And the goal is to progress from destructive to competent behaviors. The last and the final stage is where difference like race lies, and that's the institutional dimension. In this dimension is where we focus on policy, norms, procedures, and laws. All of the disparities that we might see in every single institution in America based on race can all usually be traced back to policies and procedures. And so how can we then take a very intellectual look at something that is quite emotionally charged and move the needle anyway? So when we're thinking about all other types of difference, it's interesting that we can move people along this continuum by showing them, hey, listen, you've got some internal prejudices that we need to address, and let's try to figure out how we can teach you to be nicer to move along the continuum, and then those nicer people will address the laws. But race, because it was completely made up, while it is a social construct like everything else as it relates to difference, race was also a political construct that was completely made up in the 1400s. And so for that reason, the strategy for solving the problem is different. And what I'm excited about is that my colleague David Bell is going to be with you all for 90 minutes. And David and Karen are going to talk about what date that is, to go a little deeper on your pre-work. But between now and then, I want you to think about the reflective questions and do some more of the personal work, because that is where we need to spend the bulk of our energy so that we can really see it when these things happen to us and around us, so that your skill levels are up. Now, Karen, I know David is on the line. Is it okay if he comes off mute just for a second, just to say hi?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. So thank you. I look forward to sharing my own personal experiences and helping people kind of move forward just a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I see in the chat that some of you were on the Central Exchange Midwest Leadership Summit. So thank you for being there, and I appreciate seeing you there too.
Oh my goodness, that was in record time. Y'all, let's all like show some love to David for future and Dr. Price for being here. We will send out, so you should have received an email, everyone who was registered, that had the information, kind of some housekeeping notes about tonight. There was a link on there to take an implicit bias test. We will send that out again so that you can take it. There are many, many tests in here, but I took a couple of them on able-bodied and not able-bodied people, and then I took the one on race, and I was surprised at the answers, especially with the able-bodied, not able-bodied. Apparently I have a strong able-bodied preference, which I didn't know, and is something that I will definitely question myself and work on. So thank you, Dr. Price, for talking about shame and not basically making people feel bad about where they are. And I really appreciate you for being here and a part of our July membership meeting. And members, we will have information coming soon regarding the follow-up to this particular topic and the training that David will take us through here in the next probably few weeks. So, okay, one more. High five, claps, all the things. Thank you so, so much for being here. Okay, at this time, I would like to turn the mic over to December Bramer, our wonderful and amazing Director of Fund Development.
Thank you, Karen. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for being here at this GMM. It's amazing to see 299 people on this Zoom GMM, which is, I think, a very strong attestament to our membership and their dedication to kick this year off. With that being said, I will let you know I am going to be reading a formal communication document in regards to Holiday Mart 2020. Just wanted to preface that before I begin. After a careful and deliberate assessment of our option for this year's event, we have decided it is in the best interest of our league, our participants, and the community to reimagine this year's event from an in-person shopping experience. Given the current circumstances, we believe this is to be the best and safest path forward for our league at this time. We realize this might be disappointing, and trust me, I say for everyone on the planning committee, we share in that disappointment as well. However, we believe that with a reimagined event, that it will allow our shoppers to continue shopping for a great cause without the stress of potential COVID-19 exposure. As we shift to a reimagined event, our exceptional Holiday Mart committee, co-chaired by Addie Lane and Haley Paulson, will continue our strong working relationships with our retailers, partnering with them as best as we can, particularly as many of those have already invested in this year's event. They will also be coordinating with our vendors and conducting outreach throughout the greater Kansas City area to spread the news of our announcement over the next few weeks and months. Although this is not how we envisioned this year's event, we believe this decision will help us mitigate the most risk for all of those involved. I know that regardless of how Holiday Mart will look this year, it will still be an incredible event. Though we don't have all the answers to your questions at this time, we are working quickly to resume the planning process. The committee is eager to pick up and carry on in a reimagined way. Please be sure to keep an eye out on our internal Junior League platforms for updates with more information to come. And although our organization has already been faced with an enormous amount of uncertainty this year, I continue to feel optimistic that there are brighter days ahead. And with all of your support, I believe we will create a Holiday Mart that will be as memorable as ever. I do want to also take this time to personally thank the Holiday Mart Committee this year for their hard work that they have already put into this event thus far. It definitely has not gone unnoticed. To the special Holiday Mart COVID team, you guys did extraordinary dedicated, and your effort has made impacts for Marts to come. I truly commend each of you for your extra effort. To Addie and Haley, thank you for your leadership and your tenacity. As I keep reminding you, this year is going to be a benchmarking year. To all of our members, I truly challenge each of you personally from me to continue to support our fundraising efforts through the coming year so we can continue to support our mission and our community. It's very important as a league that we come together and take on this league year and all of the challenges that are going to come our way together. So that is just my call to action for all of you as we continue this league year within our fund development. Also, I just want to say that I am available for any questions or feedbacks or ideas. Please feel free to reach out to me directly.
Thank you, December. We're already seeing some very positive support and, you know, encouraging words coming through the chat. December, we all thank you and the Holiday Mart Committee and really our entire Fund Development Council, because our league does what we do because of member dues and our fundraising. And so that's why it is so vitally important this year more than ever that we band together as members to make sure that we stay connected and do everything, take personal responsibility for giving and taking from the league, because it's not always just giving. Like usually when you give, you get back so much more. And so accepting that and making the league important in your life at whatever level you are. If you are very busy and you can only give a little, but stay connected. And staying connected, your membership and you matter. And our fundraisers matter. So as we have new opportunities for different fundraisers, as Holiday Mart is reimagined, as we move through this year, please, now more than ever, support and be a champion for each other and our fundraising events. I also want to reiterate that right now, our membership is the only, now collectively, are the only people who know about this, with the exception of some retailers that we have started to reach out to. So please, until we start making public announcements to our shoppers and our wide array of supporters, please keep this information amongst ourselves to your very best of your ability. Okay, so that is the main agenda of our GMM portion. I understand from Christy that nearly everybody, and you guys, Christy LaHood has been working ever since we opened up our GMM this evening to get all 299 of us in 4 different breakout rooms. So let's give some love to Christy LaHood because she's also taking minutes for this meeting. And as somebody who has taken minutes for the GMMs before and had to run slides and do all the things, it's a tough job. So love to Christy LaHood. We are going to be finishing up this part. So I leave you with 3 things. 1, acknowledge and accept that this year is going to be different, and understand different isn't bad. Different is just different. 2, please be patient with yourself and everyone you are working with, because we are all handling the pandemic, and every load that somebody's carrying is heavy and it's all different. So please be patient with each other, and especially us as we go through this. Everyone here, everyone in the league, really everyone in the world is doing their very best at this time, and understanding and appreciating that is really important. And 3, I've done some shout outs to lots of people on this call tonight, but I want to do a group shout out to everyone here because we have 301 committed, amazing Junior League women who are here. You have shown up, you are present, and I appreciate that so much. So high five to all of you. Lastly, at the end of tonight, so after we finish all the breakouts, we will do a drawing for the swag bag because I promised swag. We will email the person who is the winner of the swag bag tonight, and then we'll have that for you up at headquarters. And then we'll ask you to like maybe take a cute selfie with your swag bag so that we can post that on social media. Okay. Before we hop off really quickly, does anybody have any general questions that they want to ask? Otherwise, we're going to go into our breakouts and continue the meeting. I give you 2 seconds and now I've got to put on the crazy glasses. All right. I don't see any questions. So on the count of 3, we're going to say 1, 2, 3, and everybody's going to start getting in breakouts and enjoy the rest of your night.
I think I got kicked out of my breakout room.
Okay, I can put you in there. Hang on.
Thank you. New members.
I'm new members too. When you have a chance.
Oh yeah, sorry, Karen.
That's okay.
You know, I have you in the wrong room then.
Yeah, it said season leader, but that's because I put SL, but I should have put NM because I'm a dork.
Does it automatically put you in a new room?
Okay, you need to go to new member, Karen.
Yes.
Okay, I put you in, so I think you need to hit. Is it letting you do it?
No.
Okay. Showing me that you have not joined, but that you're in new member.
Christy, I have a quick question. This is Annie.
Yeah.
I selected rookie leader, but I put into the new member.
You were